Oh,
Hello, welcome to Geeks Assembled. Craig has just finished watching Amazing Grace, and I've watched Amazing Grace, starring Ian Griffith and Benedict Cumberbatch, and in a cast of thousands. And I would like to. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's one of my favorite subjects, and let me tell you, it's filmed near where our dear Lee lives, and it's set in Hull as well. So that's kind of fun and interesting. And here it is. It's Amazing Grace, and with me I've got Craig. Craig, what are your opening thoughts about the movie that's
I think it's a really poignant movie, and it makes me think. I know it's set in 1797, but it just makes me appreciate how grateful I am to live in such a free-ish society in 2021. I think that, I mean, historically, when you go back through time, you realize how evil and dangerous and scary the human race can be to each other. Just go to the London Dungeon, for example, for a day trip, and you'll just realize how cruel people can be. And I think even now, with the riots that are happening, race riots, where protesters are destroying statues of slave traders, for example, through unconscious bias, that are freely there, even at my university. I mean, you'll naturally just walk past a statue and think, oh, well, that's someone who's one of the founders of this university or a historical figure, not realizing what they actually represented and what these evil people were actually doing. So I actually will say, I'm glad they threw these statues into the water or over the canals, although I'm not glamorizing rioting or anarchy, but there is a lot of unconscious bias and institutionalized racism still present in today's society. So here. I thought it was a beautifully shot movie. It's got a cast of thousands, like you said. And even in my family history, I mean, I come from a family of immigrants anyway. So even the whole Brexit thing is kind of leaves a sour taste in the mouth. I mean, my family history will go back to Eastern Europe, for example, from Germany to the Ukraine. On my dad's side, my granddad is Jamaican. In my cousins are from Grenada and Jamaica. So I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for immigration, for example, in the first place. So I'm just grateful. But my opening thoughts was it was a really well done movie, and it gets the message across well.
sweet. I really like that you added your personal story in there. That's awesome. I'm a modern day abolitionist myself, and this movie, it's exultant to me. I mean, it really is. It's what I endeavor to see amongst the people that I hear about, especially with the slave trade, the sexual slave trade. That's intense. I mean, Prince Andrew has just been offered $100 million to take a lie detector test with the lady who accused him, taking a test for free. He's been offered $100 million in order to clear his name. These children were were traded by a despicable human being anyway. And there's more slavery right now than there ever was during the transatlantic slave trade. And that in and of itself blows your mind, makes you cry, you know, it sets me on fire.
Look at the retail industry with, say, Primark, for example, with their people working as for commodity.
That is quite true. Yeah. So I love the story. I love it's set beautifully. It's exultant. It's got Ian Griffith, like right after I think Horatio Hornblower, and right after he was in the Fantastic Four, and so you know he was.
That's where I've seen him from.
Step by step moving, yeah, exactly. Step by step moving forward in his career. And Benedict Cumberbatch, this was between the first two seasons. Hang on, let me double check that. Oh, maybe it was right before the first season of Sherlock. Anyway, it's Benedict Cumberbatch plays William Pitt, Prime Minister William Pitt, and Ian Griffith plays William Wilberforce.
It's funny you said that, Susan. Do you know what? I know I'm a bit, you know what I'm like, but it took me a while to realize that Benedict Cumberbatch was actually the Prime Minister. It took me I don't know why it didn't click straight away. But yeah, you know what I'm like. So
well, it was he didn't become Prime Minister till about midway through the movie. So,
okay, that's why then. Okay.
So he started off as just a friend and a compatriot and someone that was like back and forthing, you know, having chats with Wilberforce, but became the Prime Minister. And I think he was a Tory back when, you know, back before the parties kind of flip-flopped. Back when Tory meant liberal and forward-thinking, and labor meant, you know, slavery and stuff like that. Yeah, so great movie. And what were your favorite moments?
I liked the fact that some of the early morning shots were absolutely stunning. I thought it was set in the Cotswolds, but now you've told me it's in Hull, the city of culture. It makes sense. And I thought at one point they may have used a fog machine, but do you know what? It's up north, so there probably was that early morning mist that you get and the dew in the morning. That can be absolutely stunning. You get those little cotton plants or whatever they are. I call them cotton plants, but they look like cobweb flowers, and the sun rays shine straight through them, and it's really, really ethereal and just really lovely to see that in the mornings. The historic houses were absolutely beautiful. The gardens were stunning. I mean, I visited 30 National Trust properties. I think I've probably more than that, but I normally get to the ones in the South Coast every year to get some stock photos together. But the locations were absolutely stunning. The song "The Amazing Grace," I mean, that touched a note, because my grandmother was called Grace, and then at her funeral we sang that song at her funeral. So it was stirred up a lot of emotion for me to hear the song. I think some of the scenes in the courtroom, it wasn't a courtroom, it was Parliament, I suppose.
Yeah.
Normally that would just sort of jibe on me, but do you know what? It was really well written, so it was quite good. I think the most important scene for me was the discussion around the table where they were explaining how the slaves were shackled and branded. That quite shocked me quite a lot. But the descriptions were quite harrowing. But I enjoyed the outside location work as well in the dockyards. And also, I think for someone to discuss colitis back then, I didn't even realize that they would have even have been able to diagnose a condition back. I mean, they obviously did, which is good, because I have to take medication every day because I've got a 5-inch perforation in my stomach. So I have stomach aches constantly if I don't take my medication in the morning and night time.
Just like Wilberforce.
Yeah, basically, that's yeah. And I mean, I'm just so appreciative of that. I was born in the 80s, so because I don't even know what the treatment would have been back then. It would have been something pretty horrific, if any. So I get headaches quite a lot, so they probably would have tried to open up my skull as well to release the demons. So I'm pretty lucky I can just take a paracetamol, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but yeah, that's it was great. And I love the scenes with Gambon. I mean, I know I do pen him next to Harry Potter movies, but to see him every time he delivered a line, the whole place was silent. It was like, there's Michael Gambon, and we're going to let him just be Michael Gambon, and we're not going to say a word. They were pretty incredible. So yeah, that's my favorite bits.
So yeah, I really liked Michael Gambon as what's his name? Just a moment. Lord Charles Fox, and he became like the Home Secretary for after or the Foreign Secretary after Pitt died.
And you see, he's a hero. Without him, it wouldn't have happened. We need a statue of him.
Yeah.
On display in a town center. You know, he was a pioneer. He changed history.
John Newton's diaries and his writings, that sort of, you know, a sense of who he was being poured out on the paper. That was incredibly emotional. You know, he knew he was writing down all the names and everything else. And then when he said, you know, when they boarded the ship, they all had names, beautiful African names, and we just called them with grunts.
Grunts, yeah.
We were the animals. They were the princes.
And we're probably the only species, I think I said this the other day, we're the only species that just decides to torture our own species just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
There's an evolutionary mechanism or reason why we should be doing things like this to each other. You don't find that in the animal kingdom, you know, very rarely to find that. It's only in humans where we just do things for business or pleasure.
Yeah.
And don't mix the two.
And Albert Finney, you know, hit the high notes with that. And then, you know, Rufus Sewell was brilliant in this. And Yusuf N'Dour was, he played Equiano, who was the author and the former slave who really, you know, opened the eyes of everybody who was fighting against it, who stayed there and walked with them through that whole process until he passed away. And Ciarán Hinds was Lord Tarleton, and Toby Jones, Duke of Clarence. Those were the two antagonists, the two parties of who, were against abolition, were for slavery. And then there were cute moments with Nicholas Farrell and Sylvester Letourneau as the Thorntons when they were trying to set up Wilberforce and what's her name, Barbara Spooner. So that was fun. I liked their interplay too, Barbara Spooner and Wilberforce's interplay in this. You could tell there was chemistry, and they're so quintessentially British. I mean, like, that was just like, you didn't see him snog, you just saw them sitting there chatting all night long. So anyway, I just thought that was something else.
Fire.
What?
By an open fire.
By an open fire.
And then it reminded me of, like, it was like a Love Island moment where they both interlock each other, and then you think they're just going to go and have a kiss, and then they just continue chatting.
I know.
And then the maid comes in, and the servant comes in and says, "Oh, sorry, I thought it was past bedtime." And then she walks out. And I was thinking, yeah, she's definitely gone to the basement to tell everyone that them two are up there at it.
Yeah. And the other moment that was absolutely transformative for me was the unrolling of the petition.
Yeah. And it wasn't just a couple of hundred names. It was someone's had to carry that round and get over like
90,000.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. Yep.
And they tied it up with a big red bow as well.
Yes. And so those were my favorite moments. And I love it when when Newton comes at the end and is up in the balcony watching the Parliament vote on the thing. I mean, I love the fact that they really centered it around Newton and around his expose of slavery and the crimes and debauchery of it and stuff like that. So another powerful scene was the scene inside the slave ship where they're talking about like where the shackles go and how they treat the women. Oh my God, it was intense. Yeah. So what else about this movie?
I like the scene. Was a bit sad with the gravestones at the end, and he had a swig of his alcohol and then poured some into the gravestone to give to that was quite sad.
Yeah.
But
Sewell is awesome. Alex really likes Rufus Sewell. He really likes the way he acts and stuff. So yeah, I'm a Cumberbatch, I must admit. I really am. I really like Benedict Cumberbatch, and I like Ian Griffith too. I mean, I think that he's got a lot of awesome work in his acting career so far.
Yeah, the costume design was great as well.
Yeah, just a piece of beautiful film. Anyway. Yeah.
And the horse that came galloping out, the white horse, so you could tell, because these movie horses absolutely love being filmed, and you could see that horse was so happy to be galloping along for that little short scene.
Yeah. That was cool. Anything else?
No, I think that's it for me.
All right. What's your final say and score then?
Well, Well, William Wilberforce, he continued to battle his injustices for the rest of his life, and he transformed the hearts and minds of his countrymen on education, healthcare, and prison reform to accomplish his second great dream, which was making a better world. My score, I'll give this, I think I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
That's a great score. And I, of course, will give this a 10 out of 10. Slave Shackles. It is something to behold, and I think that everyone should watch it. I think that anyone who has a heart for, justice and social warrior and saving lives and stuff like that, they should definitely get a chance to watch this movie. And any abolitionists right now, that there are a bunch of groups that you can join, and a bunch of information online. There was a National Geographic in 2006 that outlined it and revealed that it is greater now than it was in the past. So we need to overcome slavery as a human species. We need to do it. We need to do it now. We need to do it so that we can overcome poverty, and we need to overcome the lowest, elevate the lowest castes in the system and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just wanted to preach that little message to the internet and get it out there, because this is really super important to me, and it breaks my heart. It really does. And so like and subscribe, like this video. If you don't like this video, put thumbs down and then tell us below what the hell you got going on. What's the matter? And then, come join us if you want. Get a hold of Lee or Craig or me or anybody in the group, and we'll send you links and stuff, and you can come join. And let's see. If you want notifications, hit the bell, and you'll get your notification as we do these every week. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me, Craig.
And I was going to say, if anyone wants to see my photography work, then check out my Etsy shop, which is Craig's World. And also, I'm doing Kings of Horror monthly on the Literary License podcast, which is llpodcast.com. And my first review will be some Stephen King novels versus the movie Dead Zone.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Thanks. And see you next week. Bye-bye.